Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 122 of the Debt Free Dad podcast. So as I was prepping for one of our Life Without Payments workshops about a month ago, I came across an article that features a recent survey that found that 7 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck, which if you've been listening to this show, you hear us talk about that statistic a lot. But then 63% of people don't feel that they will ever live the lifestyle that they want to live. And that kind of surprised me. So we're going to talk about this and some of the other findings on this study that I found pretty shocking, to be honest with you. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Debt Free Dad podcast, where we're helping normal, everyday people learn how to save money and kick debt so they can live a happier and stress-free life. Now here's your host, Debt Free Dad, Brad Nelson.
Hey, how is everyone doing today? You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search Brad Nelson, Debt Free Dad. And welcome to today's show. Also, Amber, wait, we're also on TikTok now. We didn't tell anybody we're on TikTok right now. So if you search on TikTok, debt_free_dad, we're on TikTok now. You should check us out. It's fun. We're having some good times. Amber and I are collaborating a little bit on creating some videos. Amber is obviously the mastermind behind the TikToks. But it's pretty fun. It's pretty exciting. Now, I mean, admittedly, I have no idea what we're doing on there, but
doesn't matter. It's just fun.
But if you're looking to connect and follow us, it would be awesome. Head over to TikTok and search for Debt Free Dad. Again, debt_free_dad. And we'd love to connect with you guys. So, again, to get all the resources, show notes, and links for today's show, head over to balancesense.com/121. I'm sorry, that's 122. That's BALANCEDCENTS.com/122. So, guys, I found this article, and I was like, all right, we got to do a podcast episode on this because there was so much information in here. I was like, this is going to make for a really good show to kind of pick apart and talk about. So I just want to read through this article real quick. It's not super lengthily, but I just want to make sure you guys as the listeners kind of understand what we're going to be kind of pulling apart here and some of the things that I just found interesting. So this article was written, and I found this on studyfinds.org. All right, and it's titled Hard Times. 7 in 10 Americans say that they're living paycheck to paycheck now. I don't know why that's now. I mean, almost 8 out of 10 people have been living paycheck to paycheck since, at least 6 years since I started this business. These statistics haven't changed much. But this is a recent article. This was February 7th of 2022, so just a few months ago. And here's how the article reads. It says, in these tough times, a new study finds it's getting harder and harder for people to save any of their money. In fact, 7 in 10 Americans say that they're living paycheck to paycheck. A recent survey of 2,007 adults found that 63% of people don't find themselves reaching a level of financial security that will allow them to live the lifestyle that they want. Lack of financial education. Wow, listen to this one, guys. I want you to remember this one. We're going to talk about this point. Lack of financial education and resources may be to blame, particularly for women who were less likely to say that they had access to these tools in comparison to men, 65% versus 84%. To educate themselves en route to financial comfort, most people turn to social media. What? Oh my gosh, 45%. It was the most popular form of educating yourselves was on social media, guys. We are going to talk about this. Their family. Holy crap, you guys. 44%. Or on online media such as financial news websites, 42%, which most of those are garbage as well. Conducted on November 22nd, 2021, by one poll on behalf of AmeriLife. The survey also explored the necessities for financial peace of mind among different groups. It says, while most women noted an absence of credit card debt, 59%, as the most important requirement for financial comfort, which I love that, by the way. This one was interesting. The majority of men think it's home ownership, 58%, which is interesting. That one I don't connect with, but that one's interesting. Respondents also differed in what they consider to be essential for financial wellness. 79% of Americans earning, and this one's really important, 79% of Americans earning over $150,000 found a savings account to be very important, compared to just only 54% of those making an income of $60,000 to $89,999. Wow. On average, respondents feel that they only need about $686 of disposable income per month to actually feel financially comfortable. That's not a whole heck of a lot, honestly. When it comes to retirement, the average American plans to start thinking about it at age 40. However, 7 in 10 confess their understanding of personal finance comfort kept changing after they reached adulthood. There's a quote here. It says, "Things don't always go according to plan, no matter your income. Having a budget is key," says Dennis Southern, president of annuities and retirement planning for AmeriLife, in a statement. "If possible, a person should have 6 months of expenses readily available in savings," which we talk a lot about on the show. "Once they achieve this, they can then target 30% of their income for things that they want, and then the remaining 20% for their savings. The earlier a person can do this, the further it will take them towards their comfort of retirement." It says 76% of millennials are likely to say that at some point in their adult life, a personal healthcare-related bill caused them to spend a large chunk of their savings. They also noted that keeping up with healthcare-related bills has derailed them from making other payments 70% more so than any other age group, which I find this interesting. I would have thought student loans would have been above medical bills, but apparently not, according to this study. It's saying that medical bills are topping out as the thing that's causing most people to delay other purchases. It says, regardless of age, the vast majority of Americans, 82%, believe that financial comfort is important to their mental and emotional well-being. 82%. That's over 8 out of 10 people. I like that. That's cool. And then the last paragraph says, it's important to know how to offset costs of both planned and unforeseen events, adds Frank Tibiani, president of career agency distribution for AmeriLife. He says this: "It's not surprising to note, however, and unfortunately, that only 3 in 10, 30% of people use financial advisors or coaches like me as a resource to educate themselves to obtain financial comfort." And then it just gives some bullet points here at the end. Essentials for financial comfort. No credit card debt was the top. 57% would make most people feel comfortable. Good credit score, 54%. Doesn't surprise me. Home ownership, 53%. Ancillary and residual income, 52%. Savings account, rainy day fund, 52%. And being able to retire, 51%. So guys, out of the gate, how do you guys feel about that? Anything surprise you there?
We got a lot of people we can talk to about this.
No question, right?
We got a large audience to speak to.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I think right at the beginning when I think where it says, I think you had in here, lack of financial education and resources may be to blame, and I think, like you said, this is why one of the reasons we created this podcast is to share that with people. But I just, for me lately, this is something when we talk about financial education, I've been kind of on a soapbox. My wife's probably tired of hearing about it. Cause it's, I'm a believer in financial education. I think it's awesome. I think there's a lot of value in financial education, but I think there's a big kick on, if only our kids knew this, if only our kids knew this, if only our kids knew this. And I think that the information's out there. And so when we constantly blame financial education as the reason that we're not successful with money, it's like me saying I'm not successful at losing weight because I don't know how I should eat. The information's out there.
Right.
I just don't want it. I don't want that information because it's not, and then I can't have my pizza and I can't eat what I want. And it's the same thing with money. It's not that the information's not out there for the people to go get. And I think that's where I think financial education has a lot of value. But I don't like it when people blame the reason they're in the situation is because they don't. Because to me, today's a great day to start educating yourself. If you've never been educated, that's fine. I totally understand that. I was uneducated at one point too about it, but at some point, then start educating yourself.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful where you're going to get your education. Like you said, Brad, in the article, social media. What
the hell?
I mean, social media is fabulous for a lot of things. And I have come across some crazy TikToks. That's why I was like, Brad, you need to get on TikTok. But I've come across some crazy TikToks where I'm like, what did they just advise somebody to do? Because I'm telling you, if you're going to educate yourself in a sense where you want to learn something to help your financials, you're probably going to lean towards things that make you feel good. Or this person says it's okay if I have credit card debt. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to follow them because you want that. You want to.
You want that confirmation.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I say, like, is a lack of financial education a legitimate reason, or is it just an excuse? You know,
Could be a cop-out for some.
I think it's a cop-out for a lot of people. You look at, okay, I'm not going to pick on our Life Without Payments Facebook group, but there's over 12,000 people in that group. And at one point, they all asked for help with their finances, right? And a lot of people will comment about the challenges and the things that they're facing in that group. And I'm like, why? Like, the resources are right here. Go through the program. Do the work we talk about on the podcast. And the stuff that you're talking about would go away. Like, the education is right in front of them. In fact, if they're in our Facebook group, it's being brought to them on a daily basis, right? And we're picking on social media. Don't go to social media. You can listen to our groups. Our groups are okay. but for real, like, I look at it as like that. To me personally, I feel that's just an excuse. You know, I think there's a lot of people who talk a good game that they want to get their finances under control until there's a resource in front of them that actually could take that away, and now they have to go to work, and now they can't escape from their excuses, and they just come up with another excuse to avoid it. I don't think lack of education is the reason why most people are struggling, because I agree with both of you, especially the fact that the information's out there. If you Google how to get out of debt, there's 2 billion search results. I know that's a lot, and that's why we have Roots, because we've gotten all the stuff, and we just put it in one place. You don't have to go anywhere else, right? But the information's out there. It's on this podcast. I mean, it's everywhere. Like, the only one that's stopping you from having financial success and living the life that you want to live is you. I mean, that's the truth. The next point, it says, what does financial comfort look like? And the excerpt from that was, while most women noted an absence of credit card debt, 59% as most important, men obviously rated homeownership 58%. I found that interesting. I mean, obviously, financial freedom means something for everybody, means something different for everybody. There's no like the meaning of life. Like, the meaning of life is different for everybody.
But you look at like rental, if you're renting, it's a bad thing. Like, people are raised to, you got to own a home, and this is the white picket fence and all of this. Like, you need to do that to be successful. So, and I think a lot of that's pushed on men more than women.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be. Yeah. Very well could be. Me personally, I guess if I had to go back, that's why we bought at such a young age in our early 20s. We bought that first house because I bought into the fact that renting was a sin and that was a waste of money. I shouldn't be renting, and that's why I did it. So I could definitely see why almost 6 out of 10 men feel that way. I like the women's side, honestly. I like that the 6 out of 10 want credit card debt gone. That I think is really important. Me personally, as far as when it comes to, what does financial comfort look like? For me, it's just having the ability to save consistently and having a savings to fall back on. For me, if I had to associate comfort to finances, it's being able to sleep at night. It's being able to wake up in the morning and not have to worry about finances and money and paying bills. And obviously, paying off credit card debt contributes to that. But I think for me, it's just having that emergency fund. That's huge for me, I think. Yeah.
And for me, financial comfort it really doesn't have a lot to do with finances. My whole initial plan to get out of debt, I think that's what my whole idea is I would have more money. I think for me, what I found is financial comfort is really knowing that I can wake up tomorrow, and if, something happened and my company said, hey, we're laying off everybody, I'm going to be okay. Or right. I can make a choice every day. I get to wake up in the morning and choose to do what I do because I like doing it, not because I got to go in because I have to pay my bills and I can't stand what I do. And, it gives me choice in my career in choosing the work I want to do instead of like taking the promotion because I'll make more money. So then we'll have more money to pay bills. That's where for me, it's not tied to money for financial comfort for me. I think once I got out of debt, it's just, I like having some money. It's allowed me to buy my truck and there's things like that. But for the most part, I don't care about money for the most part.
Yeah. Freedom of choice and opportunity is huge. That to me, if you're talking about the word financial freedom, that's what it means to me as well. It's just having the opportunity every day to make a different choice or a new choice if that's what you choose to do. That's huge. The next one is kind of concerns me a little bit. It was about the savings accounts that 79% of Americans earning over $150,000 found a savings account to be very important compared to just 54% of those with an income of $60,000 to, nearly $90,000. That's crazy. Only 54% of people making 60 to 90,000 found that a savings account was important. That is, that one kind of blew me away a little bit. And the fact that people only feel that $686 of disposable income per month makes them feel financially secure. That means to me, like, outside of, I would disagree with those 54% of people who don't feel a savings account is important, because I think it is. I think it's really important, especially when it comes to an emergency fund. But for $686 of disposable income on average for most of these people to feel more financially comfortable, that means to me it's like people aren't that far off from being comfortable. But I also think people are settling for just okay finances. I mean, we did a whole podcast episode on we're doing okay, or we're just doing okay.
I mean, that $686 disposable income is kind of scary. Like, what happens when something happens?
Yeah.
You know, where's it? Because the rest of your money is going to bills and other things. So how are you going to adjust if all you have is $686 playroom?
Right. Yep.
That's scary.
Yeah. It's a small number. And again, I think it's two things. You know, I think it shows that most people have just average or okay goals for their finances. But as we all know, people are capable of doing so much more. And it isn't that it takes all that much extra effort. It's just consistently continuing to do the stuff, pay down the debt, continuously saving the money, and continuously budgeting that creates long-term success. But anyways, I found those two interesting. When it comes to the retirement side of things, the average American plans to start thinking about it at age 40. However, 7 in 10 confess their understanding of personal finance comfort kept changing as they reached adulthood. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, as far as retirement, people not thinking about it until they're 40, of course, I didn't really have the opportunity to really start thinking about it until I was, in my late 30s or 40s, because I was just so broke. Like, it took me so much effort and so long to kind of just get out of debt, get ourselves reset, build our emergency fund. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? When did you guys seriously start thinking about retirement?
2 years ago.
So you're with me.
Oh yeah.
Now, granted,
I'm
you're a little
39,
younger.
so.
Yeah. Oh, throwing stones, right? You're not 40 yet.
No, not there. But Paul's 10 years older than me, so I mean, he started way late, but we're getting it done.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, earlier in our lives, we probably thought about it. We started off doing some of the right things, but I think as life happens, it just kind of becomes not a priority. You start, especially when I was younger, when we had kids and I was in my 20s, retirement's like, that's way, I got forever, and so you can kind of be like, I'm going to stop contributing to this. I don't need to contribute, or I'm going to take a loan out of it because we've got forever. And then suddenly you're 40 and you realize like, oh, holy cow, like it's closer than I think. And I think that's where I think that's why I think that number is 40, because I totally identify with like hitting that age and started realizing like, I'm almost halfway through my working life, and it's like I don't have all the time in the world anymore.
Right. Yeah, I would totally agree. Like when we bought this house, that's one of the reasons. I mean, there were multiple reasons why we did it, but that was one of the reasons why we only did a 15-year mortgage, because I'm like, I'm 41. When I bought this house, I was 41, and I'm like, I don't want to be, a 30-year mortgage plus all the interest you're going to pay on top of a 30-year mortgage, man. I was like, I'm going to be 70 by the time this house is paid off. I'm like, not a freaking chance am I going to do that, right? So to me, I looked at, okay, we're going to do the 15-year, and yeah, it's quite a bit more money each month, but it saved us a lot of money in interest in the long run, but it'll also be paid off by the time I'm in my mid-50s, that to me is worth it. And then between my mid-50s and those later years, I can put that much more in retirement because we don't have a mortgage, right? So, but yeah, I would agree. Like when I bought those houses in my 20s, 30 years, yeah, I'll be 50. That'll never be here. I'm not going to worry about that. Like, I just want this house, right? You think about things differently when you're younger. So anyways, if you're younger and listen to this show, it comes faster than you think. So start thinking about it a little bit. And then last but not least, I listed on here some medical bill stuff, but obviously we don't got to dive into that too much. But the last one that really kind of surprised me is that people don't seek help. I know that a lot of people kind of avoid reaching out and asking for help. Obviously, I do this for a living. So it surprised me, but it surprised me how few people actually admitted to reaching out and asking for help. And again, 3 out of 10, only 3 out of 10 respondents use financial advisors / coaches, we'll even put in there, as a resource to educate themselves to attain financial freedom. And remember, most people were using to educate themselves 45% social media, 44% their family, and 42% financial news websites. And I think there's part of this I feel is a trust issue with the financial industry. I believe that. I think there is some sort of I feel like I'm going to be had, right? Or I don't know if I trust the financial industry. Is the advice I'm getting for them or for me, right? I think there's definitely a lot of that, why some people may not reach out. I think the other part of it is shame. In fact, as we, when we do our workshops and people email us and talk to us and they open up a little bit and they'll admit to me, they'll just say straight up, it's like, look, I've avoided reaching out to you, or I avoided joining Roots, or I avoided whatever it is because I was embarrassed. I didn't want to either admit it to you, admit it to myself. I didn't want to face it, so I think by reaching out, it's easy to hide behind a keyboard and post something on social media. It's easy, right? It's easy to read a finance article and just say, okay, I'm going to do that. It's easy to find someone on TikTok like me and just watch the little 15-second TikTok, right? Or it's more comfortable talking to a family member that you trust. However, is that family member in a good financial spot to even give you the advice that you should be getting? So I think for me, man, this one surprises me. And obviously I'm a little bit biased, but I got to tell you, finding people that are doing better than you financially, finding a coach, finding someone who's giving really good sound advice, helped me more than anything else. Reading a book, talking to friends and family, just the accountability, the support, the education, just the having that third set of eyes or that second set of eyes on your financial situation, being able to give you advice. Heck, I still have financial coach friends that I will ask them, because when it's my own money, I'm emotional with it, just like all of you are, right? So if I've got something coming up, like my home purchase, I reached out to a few financial coach friends of mine who are financial coaches, and I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Like, what are your thoughts about this? Like, what do you think? And I did that because I want to know am I thinking about this emotionally, or am I thinking about this with some smarts, right? And so I have these people just to bounce ideas off of with finances, like, should I do this or should I do that? And these are people that I've gotten to know over the years that I trust and know that they're doing really well with their finances. But that's why I do it, because I find that to be way more helpful than, say, trying to dive into a book or research it on my own. I don't know. What do you guys, I mean, Amber, you have firsthand experience of this. You not only went through Roots, went through the program, but now you've hired someone to even help you with the investing side of things and educate yourself there. Like, what are your viewpoints on it?
I mean, for myself, it's more of a peace of mind and that accountability. But before I even heard about you, Brad, I was like, I wasn't asking for help. I wasn't. I didn't think I needed help, but we kind of had it going on. We made it by. We were okay. Yeah. So I didn't think I needed it. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe people just don't seek it because they really don't think they need it. They're doing okay.
Right. Yeah, that could be very well.
And I think, for me, when you look at these points here, you look at, so this is where I, when I read these articles, I try to kind of piece it together of what are people saying, and then, what are all the statistics tell? And the story I get out of this is, point number one is, on average, 75% of people say there's a lack of financial education, but yet only 3 out of 10 people actually seek out the financial education.
Right.
So it's like, and that's where I just feel, and that's where we go back to, is it an excuse? I mean, when I look at these statistics, it's like, it's 100% in my opinion, because I did it. It's an excuse. I wasn't educated, therefore I don't know what to do. Well, great. Have you talked to an advisor? Well, I'm not talking to an advisor
Right.
because guess what? I know what the advisor would have told me when I was terrible at my finances. Like, you're terrible at finances. Like, what are you doing? You're in debt. Like, we know that our finances suck and we're terrible at it. That's why we don't want to go have someone look at them to tell us what we already know. So we go to social media to numb our pain when we see everybody else doing the same things we're doing. And we say, see, I'm doing just fine. I'm not like John. John's in over his head. I can pay my bills at least.
Yeah, can you believe what the Smiths bought? Look, they bought that brand new car. How can they afford that brand new car? Can we maybe afford a brand new car?
Right.
I hear you.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's my big thing with this. That's where I struggle with some of this stuff. I mean, people need help. I think it's a big reason why I wanted to do this podcast, why we put it out there. I do think embarrassment's a huge part of it. Shame. I was all part of that. I didn't want my family or friends or anybody to know that we were doing bad. So.
Yeah. Totally agree. We're going to end it there. We're going to take a commercial. We'll be back with some celebrations.
Hey, if you love planners, this is for you. But you know why planners frustrate me? Because they only really get it half right. Now, sure, they're really good and fancy about helping you manage your time, which is really important, obviously. That's what a planner's for. But where they get it wrong is money, the second most valuable resource in our lives. Most planners don't include any financial planning. Things like, keeping track of paydays, bills, due dates, spending, yearly expenses, budgets, cash flow planning, debt elimination plans, and goal planning, right? None of that stuff. That's a real pain. And then what? Then you got to create your own in some silly binder, right? And who has time for all of that stuff? So instead, what happens? Nothing, right? A lot of people tend to ignore their finances even more, and things only get worse. Well, that all ends today because I am so excited to announce and release my brand new, totally awesome Debt Freedom Planner. This thing's awesome, by the way. Now, before you say, Brad, I've already got a planner. This is not an ordinary day planner. This is the Debt Freedom Planner, which is a companion tool that works with your day planner, and it's built to help you manage your money, pay off more debt, and melt away financial stress. And I believe this is the tool that a lot of people who want to take control of their finances have been waiting for. So head on over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Debt Freedom Planner in the menu to get access to your planner today.
Hey, what's this I see? I thought this was a party! Let's
All right. That means it's time for the celebrations of the show. And today we are kicking it off with Sandy Jarrett. Sandy says, I found out I am going to be short $1,500 next month, and I am not panicking. It's going to be tight, but I have money in savings to cover it. And that is the value of having a plan and having that emergency fund, Sandy. Good for you. That's a great win.
Kathleen Manzi Brown been saying no more this week to eating out, or if I do go out, curbing it way down. Still struggling with the damn eating out, but we'll get there and making progress.
That is the most important part there, Kathleen, is that you are making progress. That's a great win.
Lindsay Walsh, I have had to work 2 full-time jobs since February 14th to keep my benefits while I transitioned between the two, but I was able to pay off $3,767 in debt today because of it. I'm exhausted, but it felt great.
Yeah, I can imagine. That is a huge chunk of change. Yeah, if you're looking to pay off debt, income-producing activities will help you the most. I love that. Nancy Munoz, can't believe how much I've already paid off, calling to pay medical bills of $630 today and not even thinking about that before I would have avoided them. Nancy, those are huge wins. So awesome for you. Great job.
Bobby Johnston, last Friday was bonus day. I've paid about $8,000 on debt, $1,500 in my savings and cash for vacation. I'm taking my daughter.
How
Yay.
is awesome. That is awesome. Look at that. $8,000 in debt, $1,500. That's huge. Bobby, great job.
Gina Christie, I have not used my credit cards for anything so far since starting Roots.
That is awesome. Yep. Taking that break from debt. I love that, Gina. Great win. And Kristen Haug, to finish it up here today, paid off 2 more credit cards. Awesome job, Kristen. And huge congratulations to all of you guys who are working your way to financial freedom. And remember to get all the resources, show notes, and links for today's show. Head over to balancesense.com/122. That's BALANCEDCENTS.com/122. 122.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our YouTube show. So please give us a like or leave us some honest feedback on this video. And if you want the latest from the show, obviously be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe to our channel. And for the latest resources, or if you want more information on how to kick debt and financial stress, please be sure to check out the links in this video or head over to therealdebtfreedad.com. We'll see you guys on an upcoming show. Take care.